Imagine standing less than 2 miles from an atomic bomb when it explodes. The blinding flash, the unbearable heat, the shockwave powerful enough to flatten entire cities. Now imagine surviving it. Sounds impossible, right? But what if I told you one man survived not just one atomic bomb, but two? This is the incredible true story of Tsutomu Yamaguchi, the only person officially recognized as having survived both atomic bombings during World War II. And his story is almost unbelievable. Japan in 1945. By the summer of 1945, World War II had been raging for nearly 6 years. Millions had died. Entire cities had been destroyed. Japan was struggling under constant air raids and shortages. At the center of this story was Tsutomu Yamaguchi, a 29-year-old engineer working for a shipbuilding company. He was married and had a young son waiting for him at home in Nagasaki. In early August 1945, Yamaguchi traveled to Hiroshima for a business trip. After completing his work, he was preparing to return home. He had no idea that history was about to change. The morning of August 6, 1945, began like any other. The weather was clear. The streets were busy. Workers were heading to their jobs. Children were preparing for school. At around 8:15 a.m., Yamaguchi was walking toward a shipyard when he noticed an aircraft overhead. Moments later, everything changed. A blinding flash lit up the sky. The United States had dropped the atomic bomb known as Little Boy over Hiroshima. The explosion released energy unlike anything the world had ever seen. Yamaguchi was thrown violently into the air. The intense heat burned parts of his body. His eardrums were damaged. The blast wave shattered buildings and sent debris flying everywhere. When he regained consciousness, the city around him was gone. Buildings had vanished. Roads were unrecognizable. People wandered in shock, covered in burns and injuries. Many were desperately searching for family members. The destruction stretched as far as the eye could see. More than 70,000 people died almost instantly. Thousands more would die in the days and months that followed. Yet somehow, Yamaguchi survived, injured but alive. Most people would assume that surviving an atomic bomb would be the end of the story, but for Yamaguchi, it was only the beginning. Despite his injuries, he spent the night in Hiroshima. The city was in chaos. Hospitals were overwhelmed. Communication systems had collapsed. Nobody fully understood what had happened. The next day, incredibly, Yamaguchi began making his way back to Nagasaki. Travel was difficult. Rail lines were damaged. Information was scarce. Still, he managed to board a train. Imagine sitting on that train, burned, in pain, having witnessed one of the most destructive events in human history, yet still trying to return home to your family. Against all odds, he arrived in Nagasaki. He reunited with his wife and son, safe at last, or so he thought. The second bomb. On the morning of August 9, 1945, Yamaguchi reported to work. His co-workers found it difficult to believe his story. An entire city destroyed by a single bomb? It sounded impossible. As he was describing what had happened in Hiroshima, another aircraft approached. At approximately 11:02 a.m., the second atomic bomb, known as Fat Man, detonated over Nagasaki. Again, a blinding flash filled the sky. Again, a massive shockwave ripped through the city. Again, thousands of lives were lost in seconds. Remarkably, Yamaguchi survived for a second time. The building he was in offered some protection from the blast. His injuries worsened, but he remained alive. Think about the odds. Surviving one atomic bombing was already nearly impossible. Surviving two within 3 days is almost beyond comprehension, yet somehow he did. Chapter 5. Life after the bombs. The war ended shortly afterward. Japan surrendered on August 15, 1945. The world entered the nuclear age. For years, Yamaguchi lived with the physical and emotional effects of what he had witnessed. He suffered health problems related to radiation exposure, but he continued raising his family and building a life. As time passed, he became increasingly vocal about the dangers of nuclear weapons. He believed no one should ever experience what he had endured. His story became a powerful reminder of the human cost of war. Eventually, the Japanese government officially recognized him as a survivor of both atomic bombings, a distinction held by very few people in history. Today, Tsutomu Yamaguchi's story remains one of the most extraordinary survival stories ever documented. He witnessed two of the most destructive events in human history. He survived both, and he spent the rest of his life sharing his experiences so future generations would understand the consequences of nuclear warfare. If this story amazed you, subscribe for more incredible true stories from history, and tell us in the comments, what's the most unbelievable survival story you've ever heard?